Hi, this is Kate from Izzalicious Designs, and today we're going to be making some little babies in swaddling. So it's very easy. You can do it on a monster tail or you can do it on a normal loom. I'm going to show you how to do it on a normal loom. You can use the tiny little e-beads, they're a size 6 for eyes, or you can use bands for eyes. It really doesn't matter. If you do use the bands for eyes, I suggest that you take a single band and cut it so you have a long thread and you can stitch that through. You could also use a little e-bead, again a size 6. I used a white one here as a pacifier, but you don't need to put a pacifier on. We're going to be doing it on a single loom, but you're only going to need the two outside parts of the loom. Okay, so push these out like that, and this is what we're going to do to make the swaddling. We have our loom like this. Now, to make the face, we are going to need all parts of our loom in the offset configuration like this. So two different ways of having our loom. Let's get started. The colours I'm going to use today are the Rainbow Loom Tan, and I'm also going to use the Rainbow Loom Pink. But I'm going to start with the tan because we're going to do the little face of the baby first. So it's going to be exactly like we do a normal face, except smaller. To make it smaller, instead of double banding, you're going to take a single band, figure 8, and loop it on itself like this. Okay, and this is just going to make a smaller face than normal. So instead of putting hair, I'm just going to do skin tone so that it looks like a bald little baby. You can do hair if you want. I know Izzy was born with a right head of hair. So that would be where we would normally put the hair. Now we would go down for the actual side of the face, and you can see I'm just using single bands, stretching, figure 8 and looping. Makes things a bit tight, but it is how we make things smaller. Okay, and so that's the shape of the face. Now we do the sides here and here. Oops, that was silly. Come back here, band. There we go. Push these down. Now, from here, we're going to do a crossover band. Again, it's going to be single band, stretch it out, figure 8, and place it over these 3 pegs here. Okay, that's a crossover band. For the eyes, we're going to take a single band, stretch it, loop it on itself, and twist it once. Now this is tricky, and you might actually use a hook once, twice, and 3 times like that to place that there. Okay, now we're going to do the eyes. To do the eyes, I'm using my metal threader. I made it from a twisty tie, and I have a YouTube video on that, on how to do that. Okay, what we're going to do is take a single band, stretch it, figure 8, loop it on itself, and place your threader through like that. Then we're going to slide the little beads on. Now if you're not using beads, you don't have to worry about this bit, because you can actually do the eyes after the fact by sort of stitching them on, but it's completely up to you. Slide them on. Now because this is a bit tricky and it's very tight, I'm going to slide my hook in here before I take my threader off, like that. Okay, I'm going to put one side here and one side here. I'm going to spread these eyes out either side here, and then I'm going to split this band. Now I know that there's 4 pieces of it because we've looped it on itself, but the top 2 are going to go up on top of this peg here, so it acts like a crossover band. Okay, now we're going to put an end cap here. So take a flesh tone band, wrap it once, twice and 3 times. So it's a bit of a tight one, and we place that there. Alright, what we're going to do is dig down and find the top 2 bands and loop them across to the corresponding side. Okay, and then the next 2, loop them across. I know it's tight, just be gentle, okay? Make sure that you go under that end cap. There we are. Now push those bands out the way, and if you need to, just wiggle it up, and if it's not coming free, just loop what you can and then push your hook around the outside of the band, and that will release the pressure. So again, we're going to take this one up. See how it's sort of got stuck here? So put your hook in and wrap it around the outside of the peg, and it comes free. Push the crossover bands with the back of your hook, so that they are out of the way and they just leave the exposed bottom bands. Push them back. You don't want the eye band, you just want those 2 bottom bands. And I'm doing this slowly because I don't want it to break. Okay, now we're going to take a single band, still flesh tone, loop it on itself, poke your hook down this channel of this peg, out through the side, grab the band and pull it through and up to the back side of this peg. Reclaim the end of your bands here, take the 2 closest to you, up, over and off, and pull tight. Okay, so that's our little slip knot there. We're going to take this off the loom. I always like to use a metal hook, the back of one, to help me. I just think it releases the pressure. So if you were to just rip this off, I think you would probably end up with broken bands. So take your little baby's face off, and you can see how tiny weeny that is compared to how it would normally be. Okay, with these tie-off bands, I'm just going to poke my hook at the back side here, and I'm just going to pull them through and discreetly hide them at the back, like so. Okay. There we are, like that. Okay. So we're going to put that to one side until we're ready for it. What we're going to do now is take our loom apart, take that centre one out and push the centre base plate out so that we have our loom with 2 here and 2 here. I'm actually going to push this up 1 notch to make sure I have room, so that the base plate is at the very end of each side. Okay, like that. Okay, we're only using 6 pegs, and I'm going to use pink. For the first layer, we're going to use double bands because we want it. This I did not double band, and it looks a bit sort of weak, I guess, and you want it a bit sturdier than that. So double band. And what we're going to do, unlike with our standing up dresses which flared out so that they could stand up, we want this to be closed in. So to close it in, we have to do a twist like we did before, but you pick your first peg and you twist it over to the next one here. Okay, as I said, we're using 6 pegs only. Do the same this way, and we're making a cross in the middle here so that it's tied in. That's going to be the base, and it will be like a little knot at the bottom. Then we're just going to take single bands and go around the perimeter. Now, unlike the dress where I used 3 layers and it was a nice tight firm dress, we don't need it to be that tight. All we need is it to be quite loose, really. So I'm just going to use 2 layers. Take the bottom 2 and lift over. Take the bottom 2 and lift over, lift over, lift over, lift over, and lift over. And you can see that it's sort of like a little net in there. Push everything down. We put our next layer on, so this is layer number 3. Now, we don't need very many layers, we only need 8. So once that's on, take the bottom 2 and lift over. And then push down. See how this little net's forming? So this is number 4. Oops. Take the bottom 2 and lift up and over. Let's do number 5. Push everything down. Number 6. Oh. Seven. Push everything down. Now, just as we did with our pencil toppers, we're going to do a similar thing. So taking your band, and I'm going to stretch it and loop it on itself, I'm going to push my hook through the end cap on my baby's face. I'm going to grab the pink band that I've doubled and pull it through, and then I'm going to attach one side here and one side here. So my baby is suspended, its head is suspended in the middle, just like we did with the pencil toppers. Okay, and then I'm going to lay my last row, which is 8. And bottom 2 up and over, and you should be left with 2 loops on each peg, except for the middle one where we added the head, and you will have 3 on there. So once you've looped the bottom 2, go to this one here, and you're going to separate, I'm sorry, it's not 3, it's 4 because it was double looped on itself. Take the 2 bands that were looped and put them over, and then do the same on the other side. The two bottom ones are the ones that were looped, and take that over. Okay, so we have 2 looped bands on each. I'm going to start at the back of the baby's head, push my hook through, and I'm going to take these bands off the pegs. Like so. Stretch them out a bit to try and even them up. And then I'm going to take 2 pink bands and thread these on. And this is just like we did with the pencil topper. Okay, move the baby's head to the front and grab the end of your bands at the back, like that. The 2 closest to you, or you can pull it tight a bit, 2 closest to you, up, over and off, and pull the bands, and then you're just going to wrap these around your baby's neck. Not something that we would do in real life. Please. Stretch it out a bit, because it's going to look as if these ones are a bit loose, but they do, when they relax, you'll find that it's a lot easier. And there we have our little baby in a swaddling. No clips, just the little baby. Hope you enjoy making them. Take care.